We are live. Amanda, I'll wait for a thumbs up from you to let me know that we're live on all the Facebook pages. So give everybody just a moment to join us. Thank you for being here this morning. I'm so excited to have the conversation with you about this topic. So give everybody just a moment to join and welcome. I have my shake this morning. Started this morning with a great workout. What a beautiful morning, a little rain in the air here at the lake, and we certainly need the water. The lake is as low as it is at the end of the season after they've drained water off for irrigation. So we're hoping we get some torrential rainstorms the next few weeks to get that thing filled up in time for Labor Day weekend. Well, it's great to be with everybody. Let's jump right into this morning. Disclaimer before we begin. Anxiety can be a disorder. And if it's a disorder and needs therapeutic intervention, that's not what we're talking about this morning. That's the most common mental illness in the world, anxiety disorder. Very common. If you feel that anxiousness and can't get past it, the fear that comes with it, that cortisol surge that's coming on a regular basis, please seek some intervention from a good therapist who can help you work through that. This anxiety is a little different. It's an anxious feeling. It's an impatience. It's a push. I don't know which direction to go, but I can feel I need to be going somewhere other than where I am. A little bit of that kind of a feeling. I want to start this morning by going into scroll number 4 with Og Mandino on Nature's Greatest Miracle, because we definitely are nature's greatest miracle, blessed with gifts like metacognition, the ability to step back and reflect on our own thinking, and a choice to choose differently. That's a miracle in and of itself as a human being. Here's another piece. In scroll number 4, Og tells us that there is a flame that burns deep down inside of us. That's been passed down from generations uncounted. And its heat, can you feel it? Its heat is a constant irritation to my soul to be better than I am. I will fan these flames of dissatisfaction and proclaim my uniqueness to the world. I want you to check in for a minute this morning and just see if there's something burning inside of you. It maybe has had some wet blankets on it, and the biggest one lately has been COVID. Can't go anywhere, do anything, wear a mask everywhere you are. This wet blanket trying to douse our flame, and we're finally starting to take it off. Went to church yesterday and actually got to sit in all the pews. People were sitting in the pews, and masks were optional, and communion was passed, and it was incredible. We sang songs, and it was a really spiritual, wonderful time together. And I think part of it was that we finally got to break free just a little bit from what's been weighing on us now for almost 13 months. So if you felt a little bit of that wet blanket and it's starting to come off, we want to be really careful what we do next, that we don't do anything drastic, because you're going to want to. I'm going to add one more piece from this scroll when Og says, I'm not on this earth by chance. Wow. I'm here for a purpose. What is my purpose? Sometimes we want to define the purpose specifically. Be a coach, be a doctor, be an attorney, be a mom, whatever it might be. That is a purpose, but there's a purpose deeper than that. That whatever we choose as a profession, the purpose goes deeper. It says, I'm here for a purpose. And that purpose is to grow into a mountain, not to shrink to a grain of sand. Henceforth, I will apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of all, and I'll strain my potential till it cries for mercy. Now, Og's not talking about in comparison to other mountains. No, to compete against someone else is not it. We're competing against ourselves to take that which we've been given, our gifting, our clay, and creating absolutely the most we can with it. Well, I just felt impressed this weekend to take this up on Monday morning in a couple of areas because I can feel this in my life. I can feel this awakening coming, this desire to create more. And it's not like more things, just create more, to take what I've been given, my gifting, and use it more effectively to bless more and more people. Are you feeling this at all today? Let's talk about several areas just for a moment. Let's start with relationships. Ramona and I had just a really wonderful conversation last night. We curled up in the love seat in our bedroom, which we bought specifically for these moments. It's 9:30. We're leaning back. She's got her head on my shoulder, and we're just talking about these very things in our relationship. And some of the things we would love to improve. A very healthy, wonderful, uplifting, encouraging discussion. I love her with all my heart, and I know she loves me. And we want to be able to fill each other's needs and to fill our own, to be two pillars holding up the same roof. Now, sometimes we want to do crazy things like jump on an airplane and go somewhere. Now, that's not crazy if you do it on a semi-regular basis. Point being, we'll want to focus first on the one person we can control in a relationship. Too often, when I'm working with couples, we're focused on the other person. Well, if they would only, if I could get them to, I've grown past them. I hear that a lot. They don't want to grow. They don't listen. I'm going, okay. Now, by the way, if you're in an abusive relationship, what I'm sharing with you does not apply. Okay? But I'd like to think most relationships have a fair amount of health. Not great communication always, not always great common goal setting and planning, but let's start there with yourself. What could I do today that would lift and build my sweetheart? What could you do today to lift and build your companion, your child, your friend, your coworker? What could you do? We sometimes will spend a lifetime waiting for someone to fill our need. And what I've discovered over the last 68 years, no one can do that. Yeah, no one can do that. They can give and give and give, and it still can feel empty. How we feel the emptiness, fill, F-I-L-L, fill the emptiness, is we focus on the needs of another person. We truly listen to them. We're curious. We want to understand where they are. And most of all, we want them to feel understood. Is that not the thing that we long for? So instead of trying to drain it out of everyone, we go and give it to someone. And when we do, their wall comes down. And when it comes down, their cooperation and energy flood out to us. And that is a really joyful feeling, to be in that space, the recipient of someone's energy and cooperation. Let us, if we're anxious about our relationships, let's not make any wholesale decisions. Well, this just isn't what I want. Because what generally happens is we leave and we go somewhere else and get into another relationship, and not too long into it, it's not what we want. Because we're seeking something that doesn't come from another person. It comes from serving another person. So let us take a look at our lives today in terms of relationships. What could I do if I have children and maybe I'm stuck at home with COVID and we're still working from home and remotely working? And what could I do today to pause for a moment and just do one kind thing? If I went into my mind, my very busy mind, yours, your vivid visualization, your effortless thinking, if instead of just stewing in it and frustrated by it, if you zeroed it in on one person and got an inspired idea about something you could do or say, not a circus event, just a simple thing you could do or say that would lift and build that person, and then feel in your soul the joy that comes from having created it. If you get an inspired idea to call someone, call them. I was just pondering this morning, my friends, and I couldn't get you off my mind. Share with me what's happening. That is a fascinating moment to be able to be present for someone. If you get that inspiration, by the way, be courageous. Well, I'm fine. Why can't I get you off my mind? And create a safe place, because many people do not have one. Safe meaning someone's willing to actually listen to them without giving them advice or fixing them. Just listen. And when they're done sharing, simply say, thank you for sharing. You don't have responsibility to fix everybody's problems. Your gift is helping them feel understood. Your gift is helping them actually hear themselves, where they can possibly solve their own problems. So if you're anxious about relationships, if that's part of that piece, unsettled, restless, look at a companion, a child, or a friend, and do one simple thing today that could make them smile, and see what it does to your heart. See if it does not fill just a little bit of that peace. Now let's talk about careers, because right now is one of the most exciting times in a person's life, because we have been so shut down by COVID, working from home at best. Some have lost their jobs, which is tragic. It's been a financial burden for them, trying to live on unemployment benefits. What a great moment to step back and ask yourself, okay, was I or am I doing what I do for fear of not being able to pay my bills? Have I been trapped in a financial prison where I work all day, 5, 6 days a week, to pay my monthly nut, my bills? Is there any light at the end of this tunnel? Am I okay going and doing what I do and coming home? Do I enjoy this? If you do, that's wonderful. If you haven't, what a great moment to explore. Now, please don't do anything drastic that would put your family in danger financially. But it may be time to get really serious about creating something different in your life. Maybe it's a home-based business where you can spend more time at home as you have with your remote workplace at home. Maybe it's a different career. Maybe it's time to go back to school and finish your education, or get an advanced degree or a technical degree in some area. I was visiting with a young family, some friends of ours, yesterday afternoon, and they just had a baby. And she'll be going back to work. She's a nurse. She just finished her RN. And so she's going back to work now as an RN after having had her baby. Her husband's a firefighter. And what he loves his advanced EMT work. So he's going to go back. He's gone back to finish all the prerequisites to become a paramedic. It just gets him excited about being a paramedic and being on those calls where it could be life-saving. And he just lit up talking about it. To see someone excited about that kind of thing, going back to school, COVID, and all the craziness and having a baby has just opened up his eyes to, it's time. Is it time for you? Don't make a drastic change. Maybe go back to school. Is it going to be a sacrifice? No question, for a season. I think about my sweet daughter, Catherine, went through an ugly divorce and then was left without any child support or alimony. And she was an opera singer and brilliant, but it's hard to make a living singing opera with 3 children. Can't travel that much. She went back to school and got her degree as a therapist. And she's just about finished all of her hours now for her full licensure. And toward the end of that process, 1 year ago, she met the love of her life, who has changed everything. But she wasn't a victim. She wasn't wallowing in her circumstances. She took proactive action. I know she gathered her children together, got their buy-in. Everybody participated in the process. And now they've got a family back together. And her husband's going to be adopting the children. It's just an incredible story. Where are you in terms of your career? Have you started a business, but you've been languishing because of fear or doubt? Maybe it's simply time to say, how long has that habit of thinking been destroying me? This obstacle that's in the way. Maybe it's time to say, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to get past that. I am ready to move forward. That kind of a decision. And what you're already doing, showing up, doing it 100% in the time that you spend. So take a look at career. So relationships, one small deed. Business, one small action to start taking you into another area with greater opportunity in your life. Now let's talk about investment. I was on the treadmill this morning and I was listening to a story. Warren Buffett was saying that we've got this kind of a gambling attitude right now in the investment world. And I dabble in Bitcoin and Ethereum with a little small account, and it's been really exciting to play with that. And the stock market and other places. And I'm not here to give you any advice or endorse anything. It was interesting that the research showed that, like in Robinhood, the platform for trading that's very popular with young people, the average age is 31, and the average account is $244. Not gambling, life savings. But you can feel this desire to do something with real estate prices soaring. Oh my goodness, we want to add on to a garage. You would think trusses were made out of gold if you can even get them. Oh my goodness, the expense to build, let alone buy. The story that came out just 2 weeks ago, a house here in Utah had 57 full price cash offers. 57. How do you get into that market if you're just starting in your career? If mom and dad aren't in a position to help you with the down payment and your career isn't generating revenue, even with the low interest rates, can you feel that anxiety? Don't rush out and bury yourself in debt. We saw that in 2005 and 6 and 7, and when 2008 came, and that bubble burst, and we always have this in real estate. Oh my goodness, the price that was paid was just horrendous. But take an opportunity to invest a little bit here, invest a little bit there. Warren Buffett thinks you're gambling. Find quality companies and work with a newsletter or an investment group and do some small things, just a couple of $100 here or there, and start putting it away for the future. Investments are really tender topic. The Richest Man in Babylon. Go get the book. It's a great book. It's really a teeny book. It's only a few pages long, but it'll give you great wisdom in where to put your money. Because he put his money with a person who was going overseas to buy jewels and came back with rocks that were just simply glass, worthless. Gives you some guidelines for how to invest with value so that you can begin to grow a little bit of a nest egg. So where are you this morning? If you're getting close to retirement and you're looking at investment and you're not quite there, be really careful. Again, I'm not an investment advisor, but there is a little bit of, I gotta solve all my problems. And what happens in gambling? Someone loses, so they double down because they need to do twice as much of a risk to earn back their original amount. They lose that, so they double down again. It doesn't take long to wipe out an entire savings account and all of your assets. So be really careful. But the message this morning is do something small. Baby step, and then another baby step. Do that in your relationship. Do that in your career direction. As long as we live on this planet, it's going to take money to live. Money provides opportunity. And more money, more opportunity to bless yourself, your family, your friends, and the world. And if you've got enough, look around and see the suffering and the hunger. See what you could do to participate so someone doesn't go to bed tonight hungry. There are so many places, good places, that you can put that money. Relationships, just a little act of kindness. In our career, let's get really honest. We've got a life ahead of us, and we have been awakened. We've been awakened. It's the awokeness I really love right now. We've been awakened to our future. Is this what we want to do for the rest of our life? I hope there's an element in there of serving people, transforming lives, of blessing people, of helping people feel beautiful and confident and worthy. If we're doing those kinds of things with our time, oh my goodness, we could do the same thing every day, all the time, and come home with a tremendous sense of accomplishment and a sense of confidence. Just take a look where we are. Have we been hiding for a long time behind our fears and doubts? Let's break out of them. It's time. I want to increase my value. Og says I'll need to increase my actions. Walk where the failure fears to walk. Speak when the failure remains silent. Work when the failure seeks rest. I will call on 10 who can buy my goods, while the failure makes grand plans to call on one. I'll say that it is done before the failure says it is too late. Those 10 little things and 10 more little things added up make all the difference. If you got that anxious feeling, let that flame burn inside you. Take off the rest of the wet blankets. Be wise in the decisions you make, but start charting the course that can get you to where you want to be, so that when you get to the end of this life, you can look back and say, I don't have any regrets. I maximized my relationship with those that I loved. I maximized my gifts in the generation of revenue and blessing lives. I was wise with my resources so that I could get to a point where I could serve without concern for cost. My life was well spent. I left a footprint on the planet. Let's get about making those footprints today. Blessings to everyone, and may this be the greatest week of your life.